game number 1 of our second series of today. Second group stage as well. Suns fan here with Cinderin. Gaimin Gladiators versus Aurora. Don't think we've cast Aurora yet.
Nope.
And both of these teams are winless in this second group stage, but it is still early on. What is this, day 3 question mark?
Day 3 of the
7?
second group stage, yeah.
So lots of games to come still, but of course the big story from yesterday is Gaimin, Dyrachyo specifically, having a very good chance to win that series, but end up not doing so hot. Of course, we've gone over that very much so. We don't need to beat a dead horse, as they say.
But it is worth keeping in mind that in a group stage with 8 teams, the cutoff for top 4, which is what you're looking for, is probably going to be 4-3. That's the most likely 4th place score. And with these series losses that Gaimin Gladiators as well as Aurora have had right so far, whoever loses this series will be on 3 losses. So then you're basically backs against the wall after day 3. That's not a pleasant position to be in, so this series I think is extremely important for both sides. As far as the drafts go, it feels like we went into a time machine for this one compared to the previous one we just watched.
Yep.
I feel like I'm largely watching a draft from the previous letter patch. We've got Nature's Prophet as a position 4. We've got the Wyvern, which was mainly picked when a lot as a core, but sometimes support as well, going Mage Slayer, which was nerfed heavily. We've got Slark that we haven't seen too much of in this tournament either. And on the other side, Void Spirit has not been particularly popular. That's going to be played by Quinn for Gaimin Gladiators. So yeah, a lot of change-ups here, and compared to the previous series, interesting to see how this is going to turn out.
What do you think of the chrono damage for Gaimin?
Yeah, it's a bit of a concern. I guess Gyro as a support is one of the better ones. You've got the 3 call-down strikes plus the homing missile. At the very least, that's quite good damage. Void Spirit can do damage in chrono if it's placed correctly, but it is always going to be a little bit conditional.
Astral stepping to one side from another?
I mean,
is what you're referring to?
You can step across.
Yeah.
So, and you can also hit Resonant Pulse. If the hero isn't, even if the hero is perfectly centered, I think you can still do the damage.
That's a wombo combo right there. Chrono into Resonant Pulse.
Well, you asked what I thought about the damage.
Yeah, underwhelming.
It's not the best, but it's also not completely terrible. And CM is a bit of a wild card in that regard as well, because Freezing Field can be outstanding with Chrono, but it can also be a little bit of a miss, depending on the placement. Decent pressure down bottom from both sides, really. Q getting forced back by Celery. Celery going the 1-0-1 build, so early point in Aura will be very helpful for the other 2 the other 2 lanes. The Void himself, not going to benefit too much though. Doesn't really matter that much to have the mono region here.
I feel like I can't get rid of this old habit where when I see Magnus, I think of empower targets.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's in the laning stage. Like by the time you're using it on Void, I mean, it's not like it's not going to help, but it's not the same as it used to be, you know what I mean? Like before it was actual... This is how you get your farm early on. I
think about Empower for teammates as like a luxury. I think that's the way you should think about it. You shouldn't be like, oh, they're picking Mag to empower Void. They're picking Mag because they want what he offers in the lane and what he offers in terms of teamfight and catch, but the Empower is a secondary concern, at least I would think so. It's been nerfed so much on teammates now that a maxed out Empower is 40% bonus damage and 40% cleave, which still sounds like a lot, and it definitely is very good, but it's not the old Empower, that's for sure. Obviously still great on himself, so he will be leveling it. It's also the way Magnus stays very farmed if he's having a good time, which so far seems to be the case. 19-2.
Yep, not too bad. And despite Quinn getting harassed to a very low amount of HP, he's leading the way in CS. A couple ahead right now of Lornoff.
That is a good matchup for Void Spirit in general, the Puck one. You're one of the heroes that can catch up to Puck when it orbs away. If you buy Ags, you have a very reliable silence ×2, which Puck hates. In terms of the laning stage, you can offset a lot of Puck's poke with Resonant Pulse. That's also going to clip the Puck. It's very hard to phase shift. So, quite good. They picked it for a reason. Skewer.
3 Savage gets skewered away. Has to pounce, though, as Tofu will be taking the death here. But we can see 23 Savage did die first.
That's an amazing, amazing result for GG in this situation. Nature's Prophet's early rotations are extremely integral to the hero's position 4. These need to be favorable trades. You need to get ahead. It's what the hero's all about in the support position. So if the lane you gank ends up getting first blood and you trade 1 for 1, it's a net loss. Of course, in the bottom lane, then Mars will not be having the best time 1v2. Tofu straight back to lane with full resources, and he's just going to lay into this Slark.
What's the main reason? And you're talking about how these lineups are kind of like the old letter patches. Dyrachyo, he's getting very aggressive. He has to be careful here. We'll eat a Lotus, and we'll be able to walk away as a result. But like the Nature's Prophet, I'm trying to remember all the nerfs that were applied to him.
I think he lost 3 base damage, first of all, which is a pretty big deal when a hero's played as a support. I'm looking for it right now. -3 base damage, Sprout damage reduced on all levels except level 3 and 4, so... Or actually, untrue. It's only reduced on level 1 by a bit. So it scales a bit better, but it doesn't linger when you leave the trees, if you remember. You'd still take some damage there, and it would also be way better for clearing creep waves and farming the jungle. And then the teleport cooldown has been increased massively, especially on level 1. Up from 60 to 75. It's the same on level 4, sitting at 30, so it scales down, but...
What is this lane?
It's barely even a lane, I think.
It's going to end up being a double wave for 23 Savage. But he's been pushed out a good amount by Gaimin. They've done a very fine job. In fact, we'll be missing potentially a couple more last hits on this original wave, so he's bottom CS for all cores in the game. And what is the reason for Slark dropping off a bit? Because the previous letter patch, it was like almost every game it felt like this hero was contested in some fashion.
He didn't get changed much. He just got an extra 2-second cooldown on Pounce. So a lot of the time... Hang on. Let's see if this turns into anything. Don't think so. A lot of the time, heroes like Slark are quite polarizing. Their success in a patch is very much dependent on what is meta. And if the meta shifts around him, he can just fall off with 0 changes, because it's a very matchup-based hero at a pro level. So if the heroes that are popular in the core positions are not good matchups for Slark, you're just not going to see him. The hero inherently isn't good enough to just be grabbed in any situation.
That's cute.
Yeah.
TP basically right next to Celery. Will take a Frostbite for his trouble. Sprout will be returned. Celery, man, look at the even the 3 base damage nerf. He's still hitting like a truck, it feels like.
Yeah. Those stacks from teleport level 2 do a lot of damage. He barely gets across. Gets the kill. He even misclicked on his teleport in and aggroed the wolf camp on himself. I think they didn't shout, because if they did, I think he wouldn't have got the kill.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
So
is that the ability name, Shout?
No.
As you scramble to look for the name?
It's called Intimidate.
Oh.
That's a quite good word for it, actually.
It is.
I don't know if they ever cast it if you don't deal damage to them.
Oh, God. Don't ask me neutral questions. No more.
I wasn't asking you. I just said I don't know. I wouldn't be dumb enough to ask you.
But then you looked in my general direction, which is implying that you want me to respond in some way.
I think that's wishful thinking.
Which I did respond technically, so should be happy with that. 23 Savage.
Got him.
Continuing to get pressured, this tier 1 top.
Yeah.
He's going to take some rocket barrage damage. Still not level 6, as Ace is, so...
He's even far off.
He doesn't have RP, but I'm not sure if he's holding a point right now.
Unusual rotation here. Dyrachyo with a level 5 Faceless Void gank.
Very powerful. Tofu going in very deep to try to get this kill.
They saw Ollie.
Dyrachyo, there's the time dilation onto Ollie. This is probably what they're going to have to settle for. Puts the Seeds of Serenity, but looking for the deny now. Not happening. Hey, that's a pretty early Empower, actually. Maybe that's why he came through. Give me quick Empower, I farm.
Maybe he wasn't feeling safe bot, but he's TPing back, so it does seem like an elaborate movement specifically to kill, and he will be in time to get this double wave, so good timing.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
It is a Gaimin Gladiators classic to gate from safe lane to off lane with Dyrachyo's hero, but I didn't think he was going to do it on a 5 Faceless Void, but It's like it doesn't even matter what hero he plays. He just wants to outnumber.
23 again.
Oh, he used his Dark Pact already.
He has Pounce, Dark Pact in one.
He will have it ready again. Oh, well, he turned into a pig, so now he can't do it.
He's perfectly fine as the Arena comes in from Jabs as Q TP's in as well. The Chronosphere is only going to catch one. Q just on the outskirts as Tofu winning the 1v1 battle against 23 Savage. At Dyrachyo, he's taking a lot of damage from that Winter Wyvern, has made his way over. Cold Embrace onto Q. Quinn also rotating. Eventually 23 Savage does fall. Still level 5.
Where is Larinov?
And now Q gets hit by the Aether Remnant. Quinn looking to clean up as see rotation coming in now. He's from Larinov.
Finally arriving. He must have had no resources.
Mana.
I feel like this was a play call from Quinn that started all of this, saying Puck doesn't have resources, you can go top or something, because I think this play from Gaimin Gladiators, first of all, the Chrono wasn't good, right? If Puck has mana, this is really bad, but yeah, nothing in the tank for Larinov makes this work out okay for the Gladiators here, as Void Spirit was able to rotate. Turn that into an okay trade for them.
That looked a little bit more like the Gaimin Gladiators that we're used to seeing as well. Just getting very active early on. And typically they're the ones that come out with the better trades and then just mount this, I want to say this pretty early advantage that they can snowball eventually.
Coil.
Coil onto Quinn. We'll pop the Resonant Pulse. There's no follow-up at all for Larinov, so Quinn is...
Oh, he's going to go for it.
Okay, gets off the Astral Step. Larinov, though, will jaunt as Quinn. He really wants this. Astral Step will not hit. Neither will the Aether Remnant, and Quinn will get the kill somehow. Okay. Very nice. Stone-faced. He expected it all the while. Very nicely done.
What in the world?
He missed basically every spell, but it was the last one that mattered.
I'm trying to wrap my head around who deserved a kill there. Probably the Wyvern. What was that? All right, well. So first off, this coil from Larinov, he has an Invis rune on the Void Spirit. You can't do anything with this coil, and then he still somewhat sticks around for the range for Void Spirit to connect. But then overdives. Wow, that was a bit of a mess, but I guess at the end of the day, advantage Gaimin because of what happened on the map and forcing the TP rotation from Wyvern. But it is good news for Ollie that he's already level 6 now. Haven't talked about his build. Quite unusual here for the Wyvern. He's 203. As that was a kill we did not catch on camera.
203 on Wyvern.
Yeah, so he's maxing heal. No points in Splinter Blast. It's not a particularly good Splinter Blast game, but it's obviously the way that Wyvern as a... during downtime can find farm. So if you don't have any points in that, you're not going to be particularly effective at pushing out waves and getting information that way. And I wonder why he is valuing the heal that high here. It is an outstanding spell against Faceless Void, but the thing is, it has the same duration on all levels. So if you're using it for a physical damage block, it doesn't matter. So it's mainly about the heal and the cooldown.
Oh, we have the first curse of the game as this rune battle is coming. Larinov takes the regen, but Jabs comes in. Spear into the arena. Quinn is dead.
All right, that's more like it from Aurora. That was more coordinated. They bring the numbers, they set the trap. And yeah, Larinov getting that regen rune. It's going to feel good about that. It's about to get the Witchblade as well. Be the start of a ramp up in pacing from the side of Aurora.
Yeah, Ace is the story right now. Top net worth by a pretty sizable margin from the Gaimin side. That's effectively the net worth difference. Although it is actually quite even now that I look at it.
It seems to happen a lot. Ace is very good at farming and laning. So this is not particularly surprising. I also think the lane matchup he had was quite good. Slark Wyvern is just not a good lane. And they were trying to solve it by bringing this Nature's Prophet, as we talked about, to be able to outnumber. But even when they outnumbered, they traded evenly. So that is just going to lead to a very farmed Ace. Now, the big winner on Aurora in terms of net worth, the reason this is a close game is Nature's Prophet has 2,000 over the Gyro.
Oh, first RP, Ace. Gets it onto Jabs, who just throws out a spear, but will fall shortly after. Good coordinated gank from Gaimin this time.
Yep.
Likely we'll try to turn this into a tier 1.
Wonder what Prophet's going to go for to try to take advantage of this big amount of gold he's been managing. He's acquired.
Oh, no. Dyrachyo having trouble finding his target. Bash is there, but the cold embrace onto 23 Savage. He still has Shadow Dance as well, as the curse will be used just in case. Quinn making his way over as well. I wonder... Oh, might not be over. 23 Savage.
All right, that is...
Doesn't have mana for ult. Now he does. Homing Missile will hit. Now he needs mana for the pounce. He's going to get time dilated and skewered back, so eventually they get the kill they wanted. And 23 Savage's game is pretty garbage right now.
What an absurdly elaborate kill that was. They effectively used Chrono to buy time for gating. A very,
well, to be fair, when
strange.
he chronoed, he did waste about a second and a half or so trying to find him.
Yeah. And then the heal came in from the Wyvern to fully delay the play. Ironically, the heal might have actually killed the Slark because of the additional stun time.
Right.
You generally speaking want to heal instantly when somebody gets chronoed, so you stun them the shortest amount of time. Then the 4-second stun from the Cold Embrace will be eaten by the 3.75 of chrono level 1. But Ollie was not in range, so it took him a while to get over and eventually get the heal off. Well, fortunately for that, wow.
Keep it up.
Gaimin Gladiators. For Gaimin Gladiators, fortunately they managed to pull that off. Wow, I'm actually having a stroke. That's good to know.
Flaming Gladiators.
Yep, it's been good. So I was talking about what's Prophet going to do with his net worth. He has the Spirit Vessel and is eyeing up a Shard. So the Vessel obviously very good against the Faceless Void, and the Magnus it does a lot of damage to.
Accelerate. Gets pinned.
The best kill. Some valuable information here for Gladiators. They can just get out.
Dyrachyo. 700 away from Maelstrom. As Ace going in for a very aggressive skewer into an RP inside the Mars Arena, but the curse for the potential disengage, but Quinn has made his way over as well inside the Sprout now, and now the coil will contain him. And Quinn still with the Spirit Vessel applied will have to dissimulate away.
Now Laranov still has an Arcane Rune running. He really wants to fight here.
Okay. Actually gets the Sprout, now the Spirit Vessel onto the Gyro. Tofu falls, and you can see Quinn get destroyed by jabs on the back line as Aurora getting a lot out of this, and they will get the third in Ace. Accelerate shows up, gets the freezing field. Ollie's going to Cold Embrace himself, and eventually the Wolf will die in addition. And Dyrachyo died to 23 Savage. What? Okay, full team wipe, Aurora. I don't know how that's even possible.
Yeah, nice.
Has Chrono too. I'm really confused.
So obviously a really big part of that fight is the selection from Aurora to take it with the Puck Arcane. Laranov did a ton of work in this fight. And also the initiation from Gaimin Gladiators, or rather the initiation onto the Mars didn't really work out particularly well. If Wyvern is nearby when Void plus Mag try to do a combo play, the Curse and the Cold Embrace is just way too good against these two heroes in particular. Both of them running more or less exclusively physical damage. You can just press one button and negate them entirely. That's where you need that Gyro in position. That's where you need that Void Spirit to burst during the RP, but the cooldown missed, I think, and Void Spirit wasn't there, so very disconnected from Gaimin Gladiators. Gets punished easily by Aurora, and they just went from being 1k down to 4k up with that one move.
But Ace still leads the way.
Yeah, barely. Now, as for the mid kill, I cannot tell you how 23 soloed the Void. I
genuinely cannot think of a scenario, unless he's just low and gets pounced from like the trees.
He might have been low on mana from earlier down at bottom, because he was a part of that play, and 23 Savage has the Diffusal, so maybe he just caught him off guard with a pounce and then burned his mana and just ran him down.
As Ace will get pounced on now. Q coming in, gets off his Wrath of Nature.
He's dead.
And that's the top net worth down.
Middle tower has
30 seconds of no Ace.
Okay, he has more net worth than Quinn now on the Prophet.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Q is owning this game. He's 5-0-6.
Yeah, the couple games that we've cast with the Nature's Prophet this letter patch have looked really bad. This is by far the best.
Yeah, he's having major impact. He's solving a lot of problems. He's in 11 out of 13 kills. His Vessel has done a ton in these fights. for securing kills and running down heroes. And he just keeps the ball rolling. Obviously bought the Curse of the Old Growth as fast as possible as well. And if you're fighting in an area like that bottom tier 1 tower, there's so many trees to place that curse in. So really momentum-based build, and he is making the most of it.
Curse of the Old Growth.
This will fall off over time, of course, but for the time being, his combination, it's just so much damage. You put this dot on them with the curse, you put the vessel on them.
And he's rushing Aghanim Scepter, so his ult will root.
That is god tier this game. All 3 enemy cores are mobility based. They hate being rooted.
Yeah, which means they have to itemize now for a position for Nature's Prophet.
So
not only do you need a Quelling Blade, but now a Dispel soon.
So Void Spirit will usually like buying, at least a build that was popular for a while was the Echo Saber Manta, right? But in this game, Quinn is rushing the Ags to counter the Puck and the Slark. So he will have nothing against this item when it comes out.
23 Savage wants to go in deep. Waning Rift onto the Void. That's enough damage. Durachio's dead. Right off the bat, Ace kind of stuck on the low ground now. If they can spot him, he will likely fall as well. Coil on him. Spirit Vessel as well. And that is the death of the Magnus. No longer top net worth. In fact, the top 3 in the game are all on Aurora's side. They are looking so much more coordinated. So this is a team that I feel like started this year really poorly.
Yeah.
In the last tournament that I cast, Dacha Dubai, they just got stomped. And they look like a totally different team here. Lornoff with the damage rune. Yules, jabs. Can he get the spear off? Indeed, down goes Quinn now, as Gaimin Gladiators are getting stomped all of a sudden by Aurora.
Yeah, they have to be the ones initiating. They need to find some sort of an opening with a Blink Skewer, and then they need to solve the Wyvern problem. Now that Ollie has Dagger, the Faceless Void Magnus combination I find to be very greedy in this patch when you look at how other teams are playing and what they're picking. There's so much overlap between what these 2 heroes do. It's these 2 AoE spells, it's the physical damage component, it's the slow build-up for both heroes that Aurora is just exploiting here, and it's the cooldown reliance. So I think this is a bit too one-dimensional for Gaimin this game. And Quinn is the one who's meant to, you know, bring the tempo, but you can only do so much when the heroes you're playing around aren't online, right?
It does feel like one of those double bubble strats, which has been effective in years past, but like you said, the Magnus, I mean, it's a physical presence. It's not like an Enigma, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to have... And Enigma's played as support now anyway. As the Tormentor. Gaimin will get this relatively early.
This is... Okay.
Will this be the Celery clone? Indeed.
They will survive. The Seeds of Serenity and Tranquil Boots were enough to keep Celery alive. I thought he was actually going to die there.
Regeneration.
Good amount of regen there.
Well, the Ags is there for Quinn, so this item is insane, but like you said, they have to be the ones to aggress. The double silence now attached to the Resonant Pulse. But if they get initiated on it, it's not really going to help that much. I'm surprised we're not seeing like, I mean, I guess the Ags is, like you said, really good on Prophet, but just used to seeing Orchid like literally every game on this hero.
Yeah. Orchid would have also been good this game. I mean, Void, Magnus, Void. Yep, there's 2 Voids.
2 Voids.
That's not confusing.
One's faceless, though.
Yep.
Void Spirit, VS, not to be confused with Vengeful Spirit.
Yep.
So Aurora will take their Tormentor now.
No, they'll just look at it. Okay, there we go.
They will go for it.
It seemed like a little bit of a tourist attraction at first, but they actually do go for it here.
It is a building, after all.
Yep. I wonder what sick fuck architect built this. Imagine designing this.
What, a cube? I could do that in Unity right now.
No, a building that you get close to and then it burns you. It's quite masochistic.
Yeah, true.
And when you touch the door, you get electrocuted. Kind of relatable for me here, actually.
Yes.
That's a very internal joke that nobody will understand. But
now you're going to have to explain it.
Shout out to you guys in the green room. You know what's up. All right. 8K the lead for Aurora.
The Orchid was just revealed by 23 Savage. Not able to find the connection, though, so... Aurora still sporting that 8K lead like you literally just said.
Yep. It didn't change in the last 5 seconds. That's a good sign.
It happens. Sometimes, though.
Instant smoke after the TP in. So Mars Wyvern as well as Puck will try to connect with the Slark. And this is a major upside to Nature's Prophet. We talked about this the other day with Dawnbreaker. You're always there. So he can play the opposite side of the map. He can keep pushing out waves. And he will be participating in any move. So Gaimin Gladiators realize that this is probably happening. They will smoke and run the other direction.
Yeah. Jabs was about 1 second too slow to pop in that smoke. And he's the one that benefited from the shard, so the spear will now damage over time. 23 Savage showing himself. There's the silence from the Resonant Pulse. Call down as well, but he gets off the pounce eventually. And we'll get out completely as there's a Chronosphere. Dyrachyo finds literally nobody. Q is on the outside. He still might die. Aether Remnant is there. Ace gets the RP onto 2. Jabs is likely to be next, but the nice cold embrace for the time being is 23 Savage will get saved by the curse now. Still trying to get some Essence Shift stacks right now as the coil onto 2. Rebuke Spear are there, but 23 Savage is dead. Dyrachyo looks like he might actually survive this as Lorinal, he actually gets taken out by Celery of all heroes. As Ace will cut off Jabs. Quinn is the survivor of Gaimin Gladiators along with 3 other members. I don't know why I worded it that way. That's kind of weird, but a full team wipe on Aurora's side. This game is so back and forth right now.
How did Gaimin win that fight? They initiated with all of Void Spirit's kit to just force Slark away. They chrono the ground. They didn't combo anything. and then they win 5-1. Like, what's happening?
I don't know.
So, okay, so the spear from Jabs misses. That's obviously a big problem. So Dyrachyo gets to reset out. Nature's Prophet is... Okay, Puck is late. So they were outnumbered. The Curse only catches Maiden. Slark is in with no health. Okay.
Speechless.
Yeah, genuinely speechless, because I feel like the way Gaimin Gladiators initiated that wasn't good either. So if they want to jump the Slark with their Void Spirit, that's completely fine, like getting these silences off and getting the catch, but where was the follow-up? Like, they could have chronoed off that, they could have Blink Skewered off it, they could have, you know, Blink Harpooned at the very least, but I think the other heroes were not on the same page and they weren't there at the same time, but regardless, they get a huge win out of that. I'm just so confused because both of these teams, we've seen some really good games from. I mean, especially Gaimin Gladiators, we've seen good games from for, you know, a year and a half or 2 years to just consistently, absolutely elite level. And it's just uncharacteristic for them how discombobulated the fights are. And then Aurora in this tournament have looked great. And then they show up to these fights and everything is just, I don't know, that just, for both teams, I feel like that was a very poor showing, and Gaimin Gladiators just team-wiped them.
Especially after that last series that we just got.
Yeah, that was super clutch last games. But
Spirit versus Falcon, and then we're just seeing the difference right now.
I think Gaimin and Aurora might just be warming up. Maybe they're night owls, and this is an early game.
Well, I think from Aurora, they're obviously ahead at that point, but Gaimin, perhaps playing so chaotic, forces you to play kind of chaotic. And it just snowballs. They bring you down with them.
I mean, at the end of the day, this fight was about numbers, right? Puck was late. Nature's Prophet needed to teleport in first. Gaimin Gladiators were closer together, so they did get a bit of an advantage on the opening of the fight, and they got ahead. But it's again, it feels like this is the type of fight that Aurora should not allow to happen. They have Prophet who can globally TP in. Puck needs to play with the team, and the moves are just going to be clean, right? But maybe a little bit of a vulnerability. It's easy to say from the spectator standpoint that should be avoided, but perhaps what Gaimin Gladiators were exploiting was that Lorinov showed mid for a moment, and they take advantage by bringing numbers and getting ahead like that. But that was, I think scrappy is the perfect word for what that was. Slark now going to pick up Ags. This will be a big help for 23. He's also closing in on level 18. And we should keep in mind this is an insane shard game on Slark, so that will be a big item. They will have 2 saves, they will have the Wyvern heal, and they will have the Ghost Shroud. That's not what it's called. Depth Shroud. For any teammate that gets chronoed. Or gets RP'd. So 23 can play a hybrid role where he can also save. And of course he can save himself.
Yeah, one of the strongest shards in the game.
Yeah. I feel like
anytime
conceptually,
you can shard on your teammates, Cinderin, things are going well.
I feel like that Slark, the Slark shard has to be like one of the single best shards in the game. But it's just because of the hero it's attached to, you don't really want to buy it. Because Slark really wants to spend the net worth on getting stronger himself, but it's just that good that you still end up buying it after 2 or 3 items here on him.
Well, smoke from Aurora. They're going to be connecting with each other to try to they actually scan out as well. You can see their pathway will potentially lead into Gaimin. And the Wyvern, such a good hero to just keep in the back, give vision potentially with the Arctic Burn, the Curse, and Cold Embrace, 2 potential saves.
Yeah, speaking of vision, it's worth keeping in mind how good nighttime is for Aurora, right? They have Slark, and as you mentioned, the Arctic Burn extra vision. It would be a nice time for them to fight in general, to try to focus on making aggressive moves at nighttime, if possible, to really play to their strengths. But it feels like they got the wind knocked out of them a little bit from that last engagement. That, I don't know, was a little bit of a head scratcher for them too, I would imagine. You generally don't feel great if you survive the initiation and the enemy team misses one of their absolute key abilities and then you still get wiped when you are ahead.
Yeah, that was really strange.
It's gotta be weird. They will go for the Roche at night time. Seems like a wise choice. Gaimin Gladiators seem either unaware or uninterested in contesting this. Despite having all their spells ready, they're just gonna give this one away for free.
It would require everyone to take the gate.
Oh, it would require foresight and being up here already, right?
That as well.
It's possible they were banking on Aurora not doing it. I mean, this is close to 30 minutes to be fair, right? It was about to go bottom.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, 30 minutes. Wonder what the average Roche timer is.
Top tower.
Right, they're not
one. What was that?
No
What
way!
was that?
That's not.
Show that again.
There's no way that.
Show that again. Look, 22. You see that, Cinderin? Huh? That's a $100 meal right there. Can't tell if they're trolling me or not. This is real. 22 exactly. We've won.
God damn it.
We can go home now, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Wasn't it 21:59 the last game, and then they killed it before 22? How is it 22?
It just is.
I bet it's a scam. I don't believe it. All right, congratulations, Shannon. You've won yourself a dinner.
Thank you.
For
Thank
an
you,
outstanding
everybody.
prediction. If you guys are tuning in and have no idea what's going on the first day of this tournament, Shannon said, I think the average Roche time for Roche #1 is probably like 22 minutes. He just said out of the blue, and I was like, that's probably kind of close. You're probably within 3 minutes. Then it was 22:20.
That's right. Thanks for giving the lore.
And I said, if it's ever 22 exactly, I'll get you dinner. And you were right. We got
Not just any dinner, expensive dinner.
Now, you didn't say which one.
I had to stipulate that.
I'll take you somewhere that you don't like, and I'll eat it myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past you. Aegis on Aurora, 23 Savage. Only a 2K lead now, though. And now that we're getting close into the mid/late game territory, Cinderin, is there a lineup that you think is easier to execute? I mean, we talked about the awkwardness of a Void and a Magnus kind of together in a way, but we've seen this combo work before still.
I wouldn't say either lineup is particularly easier than the other. It's a lot about getting the initial catch. Mars has been great for that this tournament, of course, but you can blink, harpoon, skewer someone and start it off. So
23 Savage already using his Shadow Dance. As Jabs is looking for a connection, but he's going to get skewered by Ace after the harpoon, and Jabs now with the BKB, basically stuck alone. We'll just throw out a random spear onto Quinn, but it's 23 Savage versus Dyrachyo. No winners. But BKBs were used. The skewer, nicely done from Ace. Again, harpoon, skewer, very strong. Coil now, called out. 23 Savage is going to pounce away. Ace, another harpoon. Can't find the skewer this time. Dyrachyo gets the chrono onto 2. Looks like Ollie's the first to fall. Can they get the puck? Silence comes in from Quinn, but the BKB from Lornoff keeps him alive. And Q. Actually, Ollie's the one that bought back here. Celery stuck inside the Sprout, and now we have a pause. That's why he's stuck. Has the 4 staffs, so actually could have gotten out of the Sprout earlier. And what the horse happens now?
So
Perfect music for this.
So the setup for this fight was already kind of strange. So Nature's Prophet was top the entire time. He has just TP'd in. So this fight went on for a good 30 seconds before Prophet showed up, who can show up at any time. Maybe at cooldown. Maybe he just TP'd up to farm top. I'm not sure. The initiation First of all, they lost the Aegis without using any save spells, I think, on the side of Aurora. They didn't even coil before it either, so effectively 23 just went in front and kind of threw his Aegis away, and now they want to fight.
Yeah, the crazy part is they still have Curse. Look where Ollie is.
Yeah, I think that is the hardest spell to use. I think he... How to say... It's not really his...
Put it on Quinn. I want to see his cam. Is he laughing? No. Okay, that's disturbing look, if anything.
That's a funny comment, though. So... The... I don't think it's Wyvern's job to solve this problem. I think the Puck and the Slark and the Mars need to play together and find a pick. Just need to break open the fight. Wyvern cannot show and cannot be involved. Your job is combo breaking. You're waiting for Chrono, you're waiting for RP. That's it. You're not randomly going to go in and use an offensive curse to try to set up your Slark. You have two other teammates that are better for it. You have the Prophet follow through. So the fact that Curse is off cooldown right now is a good sign for Ollie. I think if he would have used that too, it would have been even worse.
Oh, he did get jumped, and then he bought back. And now he's back here. But yeah, biding his time.
The whole thing is just confusing. I know I'm painting a rather negative picture, but it's because I have really high expectations for these teams, and I feel like neither team has really shown up in this game so far. It's been very messy and uncoordinated, and I don't know if it's because of the nature of the lineups or if I'm missing something about how they have to dance around each other and not really go for standard engagements. But I can't really put my finger on what's going on aside from just very all over the place fights.
It's definitely chaotic.
Ollie has picked up the Ags and the Prophet. I'm not sure how recent that one was. It's 20 seconds cooldown. Will be a really big spell to have in this fight, but it probably won't be ready until this fight is
I feel like these
over.
Chaotic fights, they benefit Aurora. They play on SEA servers, Cinder, and I need to remind you. That's as chaotic as it gets.
I think lineup-wise, chaotic fights favor them too, because Slark...
That just happens to work out.
Slark and Puck, they're going to poke and prod. You're going to catch a spear here or there for jabs. You know, things just need to get started, and they need to be together and play around each other. Whereas for Gaimin Gladiators, it's mainly will Ace skewer someone. And he's done a good job this fight. I think he found 2 or 3 skewers back-to-back. It's really what has given Gaimin Gladiators this position. He still has RP ready. See if he can... He just blinked in on jabs here, right? He blinked on Ace, so he wants to RP here.
Yeah, he might have to. I'm not sure. Does he have vision?
He will get Yule.
I wonder if he has vision of Ollie right now.
He doesn't see Ollie, but Jab sees Ace. He will Yule him. This will be very awkward.
Peculiar position.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a true classic pause, I would say.
All right, let's see.
Yule. More stuff from Celery as well. Yes, he's out. Okay, everyone just runs away.
BKB. All right.
Okay.
Yep. That is the most coordinated fight of the game right there.
So the answer was D. Everyone runs away.
I don't know. It's just ironic to me. Like, this is a completely chaotic, and then when we have the pause and people come back, it's
because
super structured disengage from both teams. I mean, not that it's particularly surprising that you're going to use a pause for strategy. I mean, what are you going to do? Not talk? But
imagine if every second of the game was like that. You could plan out every second.
Yeah.
Pause every 10 seconds. So basically any bet boom game in this tournament.
All right, that's exaggerating. Objection, pandering.
Oh, God. Good old bet boom. And jabs, Wind Waker seems to be the item of the tournament. This, I don't think, am I crazy that nothing has been changed with that item in this last patch?
I think you're right.
Because
Let me just double check.
I mean, we saw it in the last tournament, in the bet boom Dacha Dubai tournament, but it's risen in popularity even since then.
Yeah, it did not get changed.
Like, we're seeing, if the game goes 40 minutes or more, we're seeing 1 to 2 minimum every game, it feels like.
I think it's a combination of players realizing how powerful the item is, but also other items got nerfed, right? This patch didn't really... It buffed a few items, but it nerfed a lot of the popular ones even further, such as Shiva's Guard. Not that the two items perform the same role, but you're just more likely to invest in a build path that used that previously. And now you will be looking for a different avenue.
Dyrachyo going S and Y, not the most common item on the Void. It's going to get that status resist for... I mean, the Curse is the big one, I suppose, but there is a lot of stuff that you benefit from. But, yeah, definitely not a usual pickup.
And there's the Manta now for Quinn. We were talking about this earlier. This hero can buy Manta to deal with the Nature's Prophet Aghanims.
And now we have, I believe, 4 BKBs in the game, 2 for each side. As Octarine will be next for Quinn. But top net worth is Lornoff on that puck. He's had himself a game and a half.
Yeah.
So Witchblade, SNK, Blink, and BKB for now.
And as we've established, if you're an old school Dota player that took a break and came back recently, and you're like, oh, Aurora's in trouble, this puck is going to fall off late game. No, puck is a hyper carry.
That's right.
Welcome back. This hero has...
That helps too. An injection of 1,400 gold.
Effectively no weak phase of the game. It's a pretty good laner. It's a great ganker and team fighter, and it scales into an insane late gamer. So, quite the hero if it doesn't get counterpicked. And in this game, it hasn't really been. It was only the Void Spirit.
Yeah, but all it takes is one chrono, one RP.
One opportunity.
Jabs, spear. Quinn already at half HP. Coil is there as well. He's going to Manta. Gets the Resonant Pulse off as well, but it's not enough. But RP comes in, but the counter curse is there on top of a chrono now. All over the place. And 23 Savage is the one that Dyrachyo wants to hit. Skewer onto 2. The BKBs are running out now as Ace tries to run away. They've only gotten the Nature's Prophet from the perspective of Gaimin Gladiators. Oh, a little bit deep for Lornoff. He's going to get Frostbit, but they're running away from him. This is the top net worth hero in the game. Celery goes down to some casual phase shift right clicks. Lornoff still leading the way, but the rest of Gaimin now disengaging completely. Although, looks like Tofu gets caught off guard. Left by his team to die. 3 for 1 in favor of Aurora.
That is the type of fight that I was expecting to see more from Aurora. They're all there together. They get the first, you know, they're poking and prodding here and there. They get the initiation with the coil. And when Gaimin Gladiators try to go for a counterplay with their Magnus and Faceless Void, the Blink Wyvern just solves the entire problem. There we go. Like, that's the kind of stuff their lineup is made of and what it can do. So that was a very well-executed fight from them. Gaimin Gladiators, it's always going to be tough when Void Spirit gets caught. I just think taking fights will be very difficult. These are the one hero that can kind of break the fight open and doesn't have to hard commit really big spells. But when he's the initial target and you kind of have to go for that RP, Ollie's job is just clear cut.
Yeah, it was really strange because even after all that, then Dyrachyo comes in with a chrono. I think it hit 2 teammates and 2 enemies, if I'm not mistaken.
And one of the enemies got frozen.
And then he targeted somebody outside the chrono during the chrono. He just left it immediately.
Yeah, I think the target he wanted to hit in the Chronosphere got cold embraced, and he has to pop his BKB to even run next to Magnus because he's cursed. So it's just a really awkward situation all around, but that's these two heroes together right there. That's the type of weakness that they will have. Lornoff will get the Illusion Rune. He also has an active Shield Rune. He is insanely powerful right now. Now he's going to start working on this Aghanim Scepter.
Oh, yeah.
Would you agree that this hero is just not getting banned enough? I feel like
that's probably fair.
I feel like every game you and I cast, Puck seems super good.
You know, I'm not complaining. I think Puck's very entertaining to watch, though. Is Wind Waker now there for jabs?
It is very entertaining.
I feel like there's just so many other heroes to ban, though. Like,
it's just, if you think about it, this is a meta right now where one of Puck's greatest counters is a first pick and often gets banned, which is Dragon Knight, right? So you take DK out of the pool, which makes Puck better by extension. Puck uses the buffed items really, really well, and Puck scales, and it bridges the gap between early mid-game pacing into late game. So I just think it's just such a high-value pick. But
smoke pops for Gaimin. They know. Quinn, he's going to get silenced on the high ground. Will Manta it off. 23 Savage focusing on Celery for now, but gets force staffed away. Dyrachyo looking for a target, finds the Nature's Prophet, but the Cold Embrace saves him for now. Has the Chrono, of course, but it's just a lowly Nature's Prophet. Although he is quite farmed. Q dies, but has buyback and can always get back into the fight very quickly.
And this is exactly what Gaimin wants. They want Quinn to jump first, give vision, find some sort of opening, some weakness that they can build upon.
Now they've actually just switched positions.
Yeah. Oof.
See if the South works out this time for Aurora, and into the pit, Gaimin will go. They scan it out, so they are certainly aware.
Yeah. Aurora needs to be careful to not stack their heroes incorrectly here. You can send in Slark first, perhaps. Getting that vision, getting some sort of a start to the fight. You could also send in the puck with some good spell casting.
Yep, the orb goes through.
He instantly BKB'd that. Quinn baited that out.
Savage already used it. And now the pit. Okay,
And
the skewer in onto the Mars. There's the curse, though. Delays this a bit. Jab's already used his BKB.
Now they don't
Aurora
curse
might
for
just
the
have to
RP.
back away. Dyrachyo and company want to continue to pursue, despite Roche being relatively low. And yeah, 23 Savage TPing out. They'll find a Wyvern, and the Roche should go to Gaimin.
Very nice from Gaimin.
Although Roche is relocating.
Yeah, he has built a new house. Or moving to his summer house, that is.
Oh, the buyback.
From Wyvern.
Interesting.
Okay.
I mean, Roche is low.
They still have RP and Chrono.
Yeah.
So you're not like
No
in
curse
the
for
clear
40.
Here. This
And
is
Roche,
not happening.
I think they're just going to get it. Although 23 Savage is going in deep. He gets out the pounce. Dyrachyo gets the Aegis, and they get the Roche. Dyrachyo gets the BKB off in time as well. 23 Savage inside the Shadow Dance. He's going to come out now, get silenced. Cold Embrace does not save him this time. And this is a dieback onto the Wyvern. They even find Jabs in the trees trying to TP out. Gets off his arena, but the RP comes through for Ace. And Jabs will pay the ultimate price. 3 dead for Aurora, and Gaimin get everything. They blow this game wide open now. They have the Aegis, the cheese, and they got 70 seconds to push.
Yep, they weren't really able to string anything together there. Wyvern buys back and connects to the fight, but doesn't have the curse to begin with, and then has to just heal the Slark, who is going in to try to get information and buy time, but just keeps getting essentially just forced down to use all of his defensives because Wyvern can't curse. They didn't manage to find any good arena to open it. They didn't manage to find any puck engage for the Slark to take advantage of, and Gaimin has definitely stepped it up. That little... the pause, maybe they just needed a slight mental reset. Feels like after the pause, they've been playing way better.
Disconnect
Woken
for the
up
power.
a little bit.
Second fortification comes out. Should be able to get this set at the very least.
Probably heading top right after. Maybe not. No, they could show some respect here. They don't have RP. They don't have to rush this. Probably settle for this and head back out.
Mid lane for Gaimin, and yeah, maybe the tier 2. So that they can go for Megas eventually. And Dyrachyo just got delivered his butterfly.
He is huge.
And he is just about to hit 25 as well, and he does. Let's see if he takes the backtrack talent, which seems to be the common pickup.
Yeah.
And he does.
Especially because this isn't even a particularly good Chrono game, as we've already established, right? So I think you should focus more on the other aspects of your hero, but you're seeing it there.
88% pick rate. It's pretty crazy, considering 140 AoE on Chrono. Chrono is like one of the most powerful ultimates in the game. Adding 140 AoE, it doesn't sound like that much, but when it's that big already, it's huge. But 12% only.
Yeah.
At what point?
I mean, backtrack is just insane.
If backtrack is 20%, right?
Yeah.
If it was 15, then what would the percentages be?
Similar, I think.
10. 10%.
How about 0?
Well, this is how you balance games, Syndra.
I mean, that is true. Imagine that as a 25 talent, though. 25 talents are meant to be like these really cool ones. There's like 10%.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
If the Chrono one's not nearly as good, apparently.
That's a good question. What would
You know
it
what
take
they
for that
should
to be
change
like...
it? Okay, since we have a pause here.
Okay.
This is from Heroes of Newerth, okay?
All right.
This used to be the Ags for Faceless Void. So what if instead of the AoE on Chrono, it allows your teammates to run in Chrono, okay?
As a 25 talent?
25. Hold on. Let me just explain the whole thing.
No, I'm asking.
You're judging me already.
No, I was asking if that was going to be the talent.
25 talent. They're slowed to the point where they can, let's say they're like 100 move speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they're inside, they're really slow, but they can move and they can cast stuff. Do you think that people would ever take that?
Over backtrack?
Yes.
Yes.
It's really good, right?
Yeah. That's really good.
Would you like to see that in the game?
No.
Would you like to tell Ice Frog to add that to the game?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because I don't like it.
Why not?
Because it's too good.
But it was in Han, and it was balanced.
That is not an argument.
Sure it is.
But it was in Han.
Yeah. If it was balanced.
Yeah, but was it balanced in Han?
Yes, it was.
Really?
Yeah.
You said it was an Ags. So you had to buy it. Here you get it for free.
Well, you get it for... You get a lot of stuff for free in this game. Yeah. Just kill a Tormy. Those shards are worth more than 1,400. I'll tell you what. A lot of them. Oh, blue screen. Very unfortunate. Gives us time to talk about the great game Heroes of Neverwinter.
Remember when I said earlier when we were talking about the banner, how teams had learned from BetBoom how to use the banner, and they're just mimicking them because they were the best team? I think Gaimin Gladiators have learned from BetBoom how to disconnect and pause, so they're also mimicking that part of the strategy too.
But I think the difference is when BetBoom does it, they lose.
Oh.
Gaimin, they got powered up.
But Gaimin is a championship-winning team, though. That's because once they figure it out, they're just better.
Oh. Okay.
And they figured out.
They perfect it then.
Yes.
Okay.
They took BetBoom's strategy and now they're taking it to the next level.
If that's the case, then I can't wait to see their Roshan's banner usage.
That's fair.
They've seen a lot of teams use that very horribly.
Arguably, them not using it would be the ultimate unlock, right?
Okay.
In your perspective.
Well, yeah, of course. You're just
so you said you can't wait. You said you can't wait to see them use it. What you meant to say was I can't wait to see them not use it.
That's right.
All right.
Or at least delay using it. Maybe a better way to put it.
Okay.
Ace working on his Wind Waker now. Jabs the double arena looks to be next for him. As there's another Wind Waker, this one by Quinn.
The Quinn Waker.
Yeah, that's true.
Shout out to Lacoste. I don't know if he's ever said that, but every time I make a bad joke, I think of Lacoste.
Yeah, and that's the forced laughter that comes after. Lacoste is a good clean boy.
Yes.
Oh, this is a little early, don't you think? Lornoff?
Nah.
Going for the Divine?
Why not?
Okay. They're not 7K, it's not that much.
That's playing to win, baby.
All right, well, he's not very far away from it. All it takes is one chrono, and
oh, okay, that's a good one.
See, that's a little early there, Dyrachyo. He's going to be able to get the kill onto Puck and Ollie as well. If only he had just waited for the Divine to be purchased at that secret shop location. Could have been really exciting. There's a buyback for Lornoff. Ollie, not so much. And it does feel like Ollie, especially for this high ground defense, is extremely important.
Yes.
So, Gaimin, to the top lane they go. 1 minute. Okay, they swap positions. Very awkward. There's the Resonant Pulse silence. Yule's applied to 23 Savage. Gonna try to turn this around onto Quinn as Jab's going in pretty deep. Arena goes off, #1. Buyback onto the puck. Lornoff trying to get in here as Wind Waker is used by Quinn Waker. Jabs getting right click by Dyrachyo. Little time walk towards the Nature's Prophet as Jab's taken out in the face of the tier 4 towers. And they're gonna be able to take out Q as well. There's the RP onto 2, but there's the curse to follow it up. Looks like Lornoff's able to get back to base. The coil only onto 1 right now, and the racks are starting to melt. This is gonna be 2 lanes for Gaimin as Ace just casually skewers away.
And with all the dire spells on cooldown, the question is if they can just end it here.
That's possible. 23 Savage has to be a bit careful. Bummer applied there. Still 53 seconds of no jab, so 5v4, not including the Aegis and the cheese. And now Mega Creep's on the menu for Gaimin Gladiators. Pounce, 23 Savage, but they just have... These Wind Wakers are so hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Dyrachyo will get the range racks. You can see the Aegis has been consumed now. Another Wind Waker for Gaimin. This won't be for Tofu, as Quinn They're going to be able to take out Q very easily here. And now the Mega Creeps will come to Gaimin Gladiators. That is going to be 4 Wind Wakers for Gaimin. The item of the patch for sure. The tier 4s now standing in their way. Not going to have their Nature's Prophet for Aurora, so they'll have to try to defend 4v5 if Gaimin continue.
Wind Waker is also just an outstanding item against Puck, right? When Puck has Ags and is going for this right-click damage-style build, you can just get everyone out of the coil.
Okay, we have the Chronosphere from Dyrachyo, but the Cold Embrace will stop it in its tracks for the time being. 23 Savage is going to pop the BKB, but he's getting melted. Finally gets off his ult. There's the Curse onto 2. Essence Shift stacks. They're starting to be there for 23 Savage, but he's getting pretty low on HP, so has to be careful. The coil connecting on basically everybody from Gaimin. But the Wyvern will be lost. 23 Savage forced to pounce away. Nice spear, but Jab's going to be surrounded here very shortly and taken out one last time. 23 Savage is actually going to survive, but he gets skewered out of his fountain, silenced, and finally brought down as the GGs come out. So Gaimin take game number 1.